Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. The Taliban has taken over a large portion of Afghanistan. I think geographically they've got about half the country right now. They, of course, speak on behalf of their God. They say that abortion is absolutely illegal in Afghanistan, that only men and women can get married. In fact, homosexuality is outlawed there. And, it's like they've got it figured out, I guess. But, here in the United States, we've got our own Taliban. The spokesman for that today is Matt Walsh. He's got a new book out, Unholy Trinity, Blocking the Left's Assault on Life, Marriage, and Gender. Matt, welcome back to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me. I didn't know that the Taliban was against murder.
So you want to run America like the Taliban. What are your God's demands of us?
Well, I think I just have a few really basic things. Like, I don't think we should kill babies. I think that not killing babies is used to be a principle that we could all kind of rally around. But I think it's interesting that you associate not wanting to kill babies with terrorism. I just think that's interesting.
Well, no, with religious fundamentalism, absolutely. Your assertion that men should be making, particularly male legislators, should be inserting government between a woman and her physician, or a woman and her husband, or a woman and her just own decision. I get it. I understand patriarchy and hierarchy. I understand these things come out of these monotheistic religions. And I understand that, Christianity and Islam share that. And you're convinced that your God is telling us that's how it should be. What do you want to do with a woman who has a miscarriage or who has an abortion? Do you think she should be put to death?
Okay, miscarriage, of course, that's absurd.
Mike Pence wanted women who had miscarriages to report themselves to the police and to have funerals.
Well, I think
he actually signed the legislation, you'll recall.
If I could answer, I think that's probably mischaracterization of Mike Pence's position, but I'm not Mike Pence. My position is that to purposefully and intentionally kill a human being, an innocent human being, is wrong. But so what you're saying is that there are situations where killing an innocent human being could be okay.
So the Taliban in Afghanistan, if a woman has an abortion, they will kill her. Are you suggesting that she should also be put to death here in the United States? Does the Christian Taliban hold the same position?
Tom, you're suggesting that babies should be put to death. Is it
not okay
to kill innocent human beings?
If you're saying that a woman who has an abortion is responsible for murder, what do you want to do to her for that?
Actually, I'm not. Before we get into that discussion,
no, you started that discussion.
No, Tom, I'm asking you, is it or is it not murder to kill a human being, an innocent human being?
I'm not the one being interviewed here. You are, Matt. If you consider that murder, what's your penalty?
You began this conversation by comparing me to the Taliban because I don't think we should kill babies. I think that's an extreme, radical, insane position on your part, Tom.
To use your phrase, if you don't think that a woman should choose to have an abortion and to kill a baby, to your phrase, then what do you want to do to that woman who has that abortion?
I'm just trying to figure out on what basis are we having this conversation. Are you suggesting that an abortion is not killing a human?
I am trying to find out. We're working entirely in your frame, Matt. I'm not challenging your frame at all. I'm saying, okay, you're saying that an abortion is murder, and you're saying that your God says that's a terrible thing, and I'm asking you, what do you want to do to the woman who has an abortion?
Tom, you're being an intellectual and moral coward right now.
It's a very simple question, Matt. I don't know why you're afraid to answer it.
You began this conversation by saying I'm part of the Taliban because I don't want to kill babies. I'm asking you, a child who is in the womb, is that a human being? And if we suck its brains out, have we killed it or not? Answer the question, Tom.
Matt, again, it's not my...
Tom, why can't you answer the question? Is it killing a baby or not?
Matt, I'm not the one being... I'm not out there... There's a very simple difference here right now, Matt. You're out there pushing a book called Unholy Trinity in which you're promoting, apparently, punishment for having an abortion. I'm not promoting anything. So my opinion is inconsequential here. I'm trying to get your opinion. You're saying a woman who sucks the brains of a baby out or condones it and pays for it is committing murder. What's the penalty?
Tom, what you're doing is what pro-aborts always do, which is you're deflecting from the fundamental issue about whether or not we should kill babies and trying to harp on these peripheral issues because you're too afraid to stand up for your own position. Is it or is it not murder to kill a baby?
Matt, my position is that a woman should be
of killing babies. Tom?
Matt, actually, I'm not, my position is irrelevant here, Matt. I'm not the one who's publishing a book, promoting it on the Blaze, and out there. So, your book is titled Unholy Trinity, Blocking the Left's Assault on Life, that's abortion, marriage, and gender. Correct. Okay, so you're not going to tell me what you want to do to women who have abortions. Let's move on to marriage and gender. What do you want to do to gay people?
Tom,
the Taliban will castrate gay people. What do you want to do to them?
You began this conversation by saying I'm in the Taliban because I don't want to kill babies.
I said you are behaving in a way that is consistent with a Christian Taliban.
Tom, I am asking you. You decided to begin this conversation that way, and now you're playing the victim, which is again a very common liberal tactic. I'm not going to let you do that, though. You began by comparing me to the Taliban. I'm asking you to defend that position by explaining what about me makes me similar to a terrorist just because I don't want to kill babies.
The Taliban punishes women for having abortions. And I'm assuming you want to punish women for having abortions, although you refuse to answer the question. The Taliban punishes people for being gay, and you've got marriage and gender here in the title of your book. I'm assuming there's something about that, and I'd like to open this up and give you an opportunity to respond. You don't want to tell us how you want to punish people who have abortions. So let's talk about homosexuality. What do you want to do to gay people?
You're pretending that you're trying to have an intelligent and coherent conversation when you began this conversation by comparing me to the Taliban, and you won't even state what your own position is. Tom, let me ask you this. If I were to answer your ridiculous...
We lost his Skype audio, but he's still on the phone. You can pick it up off the phone. Matt, you need to pick the phone up and put it by your ear because your Skype audio just collapsed. So.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay. So try that again. I missed the whole sentence. I'm sorry.
Okay. So I'm on the phone now. Or should I go back
Well, you're on the phone. Actually, the video just came back too, but we'll use the telephone audio just because Skype just got unreliable on us. I don't know if it's on our side or yours, but we've got 2 or 3 minutes left here, Matt. Moving on from abortion, what do you want to do about homosexuality?
My question was to you: if I answer your ridiculous and irrelevant question about punishment for abortion, will you then state what your own position is on baby killing so that we can have a coherent conversation about it? That's all I want to know. Are we having this conversation are we playing by the same rules here?
Matt, what do you want? What do you want to do about, it's very clear that you're opposed to abortion. We got that.
Yes.
Okay.
Killing babies, yeah.
So I'm assuming since marriage and gender are also in the subtitle of your book, you've got some kind of an issue about people who are gay. What do you want to do about that?
No, I don't have an issue. It's not about people who are gay, people who are attracted to other men. The issue is about marriage, and that marriage is a certain thing, there's a certain definition. And things that are different from other things should not be called the same thing. I think that's for the same reason why I'd be opposed to calling a circle a square, because they're not the same. So you have the union between a man and a woman, which in principle, and obviously there are aberrations and physical defects which change us, but in principle that union has the ability and the power to create another person. And so what I'm saying is that is a significant, before we even get into the moral designations, so we don't even need to talk about that. But that is a significant difference. That is a feature of the man-woman relationship.
So you're saying that people should be tested for their fertility before they're allowed to get married? And that people who've, I've had a vasectomy, should I divorce my wife now?
No, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the relationship between a man and a woman in principle is procreative. So in other words, it's sort of like if I were to say...
But it's not always procreative. If you're saying that the only purpose of marriage is procreation, then that's a whole different conversation. I thought that you were saying that, you say unholy Trinity, that this is unholy, that your God told you that marriage is between a man and a woman. And so, I know what the Taliban does about this. I'm wondering what you do about it.
This is you're misunderstanding what I say when I say the word in principle. What I'm saying is that it's sort of like if I were to say that, human beings in principle have 2 arms and 2 legs. I think you would agree. Now, that doesn't mean that someone who loses a leg is no longer a human being, but it does mean that if we were to describe the features of a human being, we would all agree that human beings in principle have 2 arms and 2 legs. And so that I would say in principle, the marital relationship is procreative in principle.
So presumably what you're arguing is that the state should not recognize gay marriage. Is that the bottom line here?
What I'm arguing is that gay marriage is a misnomer and an impossibility, and the state should not recognize something that's impossible.
So you're asserting that gay people now, many of us think that marriage doesn't just have to do with having babies. I fell in love with Louise. That's why I married her. In fact, I would have been perfectly well. Having kids was a great thing. I have 3 children. But if I couldn't have children, I would still be with Louise after 46 years we've been married now. But it sounds to me like what you're saying is that gay people, if they do fall in love, we shouldn't recognize it or the state shouldn't sanction it. Or is it that you think that it's not possible for gay people to fall in love? Or do you think that marriage shouldn't have to do with love? It should only have to do with babies?
Tom,
what am I missing?
We have to talk about what is love, first of all. Love is not just an emotional feeling. It's a choice that we make, a choice of devotion and fidelity and sacrifice to another person.
Sure.
And of course, I'm not saying that.
So why wouldn't you want to promote a gay couple having monogamy and being together for the rest of their lives?
Because the state's interest, or I should say society's interest in a romantic relationship has nothing to do with the romance. And I think it's great if a married couple, a man and a woman, have romance and have that love. I think absolutely. I think.
So do you want to ban divorce?
Can I answer the question? Society's interest, society's stake in a relationship happens only with that between a man and a woman, because that's a relationship that can create people. And that is such an enormous power and responsibility that I think
and yet a large percentage of people who are married, probably 60, 70% of people who are married right now, are not capable of having babies because they're past the age at which they can have babies, or because they've been sterilized like I have been. I'm missing something here. You're saying that gay people see it seems like you would want stable relationships, even gay relationships. Isn't that in society's interest?
It's a stable relationship is especially in society's interest if it creates other people, it creates children, and then we need that stable family to care for the children.
I see. Okay. Matt, we're out of time here. Matt Walsh, he's a contributor at The Blaze, author of a new book, Unholy Trinity, Blocking the Left's Assault on Life, Marriage, and Gender. Matt, thanks.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
You can also check out his website at the Matt Walsh, WALSH, blog.com. Thank you, Matt.